Learn about the county's model healthcare plan, convenient family clinics, children's programs, neighborhood and senior centers, transportation services, and more.
Hello and welcome to Hillsborough County Social Services Department segment. Today we'll be discussing both the services to our citizens and behind the scenes. My name is Dee Fradella and I'm the Center Manager for the South Shore Community Resource Center in Ruskin. And I would like to welcome my colleagues, your panelists for today.
Thank you, Dee. I am Shalewa Noel Thomas. I am the Manager for the University Community Resource Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Audrey Ziegler, the Social Services Department Director.
Hi, I'm James Gerard. I'm a Human Services Supervisor at the University Community Resource Center.
Let's answer some common questions today: who we are, where we are, and what we do. And let's begin with our Department Director, Ms. Audrey Ziegler. Audrey, what is Hillsborough County Social Services' overall focus?
The Social Services overall focus is to provide case management services to our low-income vulnerable residents in Hillsborough County. We are committed to serving people when they're in crisis, sometimes when they're at their lowest point, maybe facing eviction and facing homelessness, or even facing their power being out. We also have some services where we assist people when they're working towards improving themselves, towards self-sufficiency, such as education supports, training, employment supports. We have 5 neighborhood service centers, which we've recently renamed to community resource centers, and they're located throughout Hillsborough County. We also have a few staff members located throughout Hillsborough County in Career Source. So as our customers are facing barriers to employment, we can address them when they're there rather than having them route to one of our centers. And we also have a case manager located in Hillsborough County's adult education program. So if someone is seeking a GED and trying to get started from that point of view, then we can address it there. The last thing I want to mention about our focus is this past year we've been instrumental in meeting people that are facing a real crisis, such as a flood or a fire, or even being vacated from their home by code enforcement. So we've been on scene with them. We've kind of even become first responders in helping people transition through those really tough local emergencies.
Have there been any changes in the department that customers should be aware of?
There's been so many changes. I'm glad you asked that question. We've rearranged our staff to allow for some of those extra services that I mentioned. We've also revamped some of our staff to allow for quality assurance and training and ensuring that our grants are in compliance. I know the behind the scenes team will cover that in detail. We've focused a lot of our efforts on customer service, improving our responses to phone calls, returning phone calls. Our front desk staff is much more versed in eligibility, so the application process is becoming more simple. We fast-track some of the services that are just a simple transaction. So it's almost an entitlement program where if someone were to present themselves with a need and all of the eligibility criteria, we could be able to serve them that day. Whereas prior to now, they would have to come back multiple times and jump through some hoops. So we're really simplifying the process, looking at technology, finding out how people at some point can apply for services online, maybe from their homes. So we're really looking at doing things better, faster, more efficient, and without the hassle, because when people are facing a crisis, we don't want to intervene with causing more hardship, or some of these services where we can intervene.
James, what types of social services are offered to the families through the community resource centers?
For low-income families that are eligible for our services, we offer homeless prevention. We can assist with rent or mortgage, utility assistance, whether it be gas, electric, or water, education and training, transportation. We have a family empowerment program where we actually case manage families to self-sufficiency. We have other services for youth, such as aftercare, summer programs, youth development, career training, college preparation. There's a lot at each site that we have to offer.
Okay, thank you. And what about other services that would be available for Hillsborough County citizens at the community resource centers?
We have a community service block grant each year where we issue $5,000 scholarships. We have a navigator program where some of our customers are actually hired on a limited duration to work in our sites to improve their skills and experience, make themselves more marketable in the job market.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's talk about our shelter assistance program. Could you explain the homeless prevention program specifically?
So our shelter assistance program has been revamped, and we have a renewed focus on homeless prevention. And what that means is we provide financial assistance for individuals who are in danger of losing their housing with the goal of stabilizing their housing situation.
And what measures do we take to ensure that properties are safe for our citizens?
Well, we definitely want to ensure that safety comes first for our residents and for the individuals that we service. And so in terms of our policy states that we do have to ensure that all residential units for which we provide financial assistance pass a code enforcement inspection.
And where might the landlords learn more information about becoming a landlord for Hillsborough County?
Our website, www.hillsboroughcounty.org, houses the information for landlords. They can actually go to our website to get more information on that code inspection policy.
Our services are located throughout Hillsborough County?
Yes, they are. One of the things we have really emphasized, and Audrey mentioned some of the enhancements of the department, and so we have emphasized increasing and enhancing access for our customers. There are 5 centers located throughout the county. There's Lee Davis, West Tampa, Plant City, South Shore, and the University Community Resource Centers. And customers can access services at any of those sites.
And are there other ways that they can access services?
Absolutely. Like I said before, we certainly want to make access to our customers as feasible as possible for everyone. And so they can access services physically at our centers, or they can actually access services remotely through email or fax. And they can actually call the centers for more information on how to access our services. And in addition to that, I want to re-emphasize that our website also houses that information.
Wonderful. What are the hours in the centers?
Our hours of operation are Mondays through Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Would a citizen need to come to the center that's closest to them, or can they go to any center?
Again, Dee, we want to make access as convenient as possible for our customers, and so they can actually access services at any of the centers.
Wonderful.
They're not restricted by zip codes or by their geographical location.
Okay. And what about individuals with limited mobility?
Individuals with limited mobility, they actually have several options. Like I mentioned before, they can access services remotely, and so we've enhanced the technological capacity for customers to access services through fax or through email. And in very special cases where mobility is severely limited, we can actually conduct a home visit whereby a case manager can actually visit the home of a customer and they can access services accordingly.
James, I know there's a reference to being Hillsborough County resident on the department's printed materials and the website. Is it necessary for someone to live in Hillsborough County to receive services?
Yes, Dee. In order for an applicant to receive services, they have to be an established Hillsborough County resident.
How do we define that?
To be a Hillsborough County resident, we ask that the applicants provide us with 2 documents to support their residency. Some of the examples that they can use would be like a driver's license, a lease, a utility bill, a voter registration card, even an active car registration, or anything mailed from a government agency, such as a DCF food stamp letter, a Tampa housing letter, unemployment compensation, anything of that, a school record. All those would work for residency documents as well.
All right, thank you. Let's talk a little bit about the application process. What should the applicant expect to happen during that process?
Well, the first thing that we'll ask an applicant to do is to attend one of our orientations. The orientations are held daily at each community resource center. At that, we'll have them fill out an application and provide us with IDs and social security cards for everyone in the household. From there, we'll go over all the requirements that they'll need to bring back for their appointment, and we'll give them a scheduled appointment date and time.
Audrey, what information would someone find on the website? We've mentioned that a couple of different times today.
I'm glad you've mentioned that because we've been working for quite some time now to improve what information is out there. We want to make sure that is a tool that our customers take advantage of, as well as partnered agencies who may be referring someone over, that they're case managing and identify a barrier or a need. So all of the information is up to date. It basically says what the department's mission is, kind of what we stand for, that customer service and service matters is a priority. Yes. The income guidelines are listed there, so someone could pretty much, determine their own eligibility. And so when they show up, kind of know what they're applying for and match it to their needs.
I know that you stay up to date daily on what's happening in our department and stay on top of it and are very versed about our service delivery. Share how many households received assistance last year in the fiscal year.
I'm going to speak to some numbers, but first I want to just get back to something James said. We do have orientation sessions every day at the community resource centers, and at times we don't know how many people screen themselves out or hear the information and decide that they won't apply. So our traffic is even greater than the numbers I'll recite back to you. But last year we assisted 2,700 households avoid becoming homeless. Over 16,000 households avoided having their power interrupted. 350 youth were engaged in some of the programs James mentioned, either getting a scholarship or attending FAMU University for a college experience. We also offered 80 families a family empowerment program. So they were case managed long-term to work towards their short-term goals and long-term goals and ultimately reach self-sufficiency through that program. So wonderful. The numbers are vast. We also offer other things like education supports, transportation supports. And so if you add those numbers in as well, you can see the volume at those 5 centers is pretty robust. And that's why we're making so many efforts to make things streamlined and efficient so that we can do a better job managing the amount of traffic that we see.
Thank you for bringing that out. Shalewa, we've talked about the programs and the services, and we've noted that we have had some successes. Would you have a success story that you could share with our audience today?
We had an individual who came into one of our sites. She is a mother of 2, a family of 4, and they had been dependent on the husband's income for the family. And the husband, unfortunately, because of a work-related incident, became disabled. And so from that, they had no income to sustain the family. And so this customer actually came into the site. She came to the center. She applied for utility assistance under our LAHI program. And that program is a program that allows us to provide financial assistance for utilities. She came in and we determined her eligibility for the program and she received the assistance. But it was interesting, during that eligibility process, the case manager really detected a sense of motivation in her and saw that she really had a zeal and really was interested in improving her situation to provide for her family. And so what we did was we assessed her for the Navigator program, and James mentioned that program earlier. And with that program, we provide an opportunity for part-time employment until the individual is able to secure full-time employment. She was eligible for that program, and so we hired her on in an office assistant capacity. In that position, she demonstrated a very good innovative skills. She was very creative in that position. She really brought critical thinking skills to that job. And we recognized that, and an opportunity came up with the county for her to actually apply for a full-time position. Wonderful. She was able to acquire that position. We'll segue into that position in a few weeks. And so truthfully, Dee, for us, that is a success story.
It is, and that's what makes all of our jobs so worthwhile, isn't it?
Yes.
Audrey, we're going to wrap it up with one final question. What is the most important message you would like the county to know about Hillsborough County Social Services?
As an agency within Hillsborough County government, I think it's critical to mention that all of the departments within Hillsborough County are committed to community prosperity. And that's something that we're overall working towards for all of the residents. But for social services in particular, it's really specific to individuals and families who are already at a disadvantage, already involved in systems and programs and trying to navigate all that. So for us, the biggest message would be that we're really trying to be part of a solution and take away the red tape that has typically hindered government programs, and we're really seeing situations such as what Shalala mentioned, and programs, and being really creative with our programs, and not just being the typical social services department, but really going a step above.
Yes.
And being innovative and making sure that we meet people where they are and not just what we think is the recipe for their success.
This wraps up our section. Is there anything else that the panelists want to add, or something we may have overlooked?
There's one thing, since we have a couple extra minutes, Dee. Along with our Service Matters overview and rebranding and remodeling and all the efficiencies we talked about, we are looking at remodeling 3 of our oldest
Yes.
community resource centers. They will be equipped with flexible meeting space so our partners can be on site as much as possible. They'll be equipped with Wi-Fi, so if people come in with their own technology, they'll be able to connect and start the eligibility process for themselves. Some of them will even have a snack bar. So we're hoping to attract some interaction within those centers, which is really bringing a community together in a social setting, rather than just when there's a need or when someone's in crisis, or even having people help each other when they're in crisis as they gravitate towards those centers. The other thing is, I think one of the biggest enhancements, and Shalala touched on it, is the code enforcement inspection. Prior to now, we always knew that we were assisting people stay in their housing, but we weren't too sure about the condition of those properties. So now we have a comfort level that landlords are really part of the solution with us to make sure that people are living safe and the right number of people are in the household, and things like smoke detectors are there. So we're looking at things like preventative measures to make sure that people who already are at a disadvantage don't end up in a worse situation. So we really feel good about the direction we're moving, and we know we have a lot more work to do as we mature as a department. But there's 80 staff members, and I can honestly say that all 80 have committed to Service Matters and being better at customer service and customer satisfaction.
Thank you very much, and
Thank
I
you.
thank my colleagues for joining me for this segment. Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Welcome back to our second segment, and I'd like to start with you, Faith. Would you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Faith Miller-Burston, and I am the manager for grants compliance.
I'm Angela Madero. I'm the manager of projects and contracts.
Thank you. All right, we'll start our questions with you, Faith. Tell us how our programs and services are funded.
Well, Dee, we actually have multiple funding sources within the department. Some of our services are funded by grants, and some of our services are funded with our general funds. For example, we have 2 energy grants. We have our Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, also known as our LIHEAP program, and we have our Emergency Home Energy Assistance Program for the elderly. We also have a Community Services Block Grant, which funds many services, which I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to talk about. And as I said, we have our general funds as well.
How does the department decide who receives services?
Well, eligibility is actually determined based on the funding sources. So a moment ago I mentioned our energy assistance grants, LIHEAP and EHEAP. For example, there are many eligibility requirements, but for those 2 grants specifically, anyone coming in seeking assistance needs to be at or below 150% of the federal poverty guidelines. For the CSBG grant, our Community Services Block Grant, the income eligibility for that particular grant is that an individual or family needs to be at or below 125% of the federal poverty guidelines. So it's really driven by the actual funding source. And then for our general funds, that eligibility is spelled out in our procedures and our policies.
You mentioned the Community Services Block Grant. Could you tell us about that program?
The Community Services Block Grant really has its roots back in the War on Poverty in President Lyndon B. Johnson's administration. The goal of the grant is to help those individuals, low-income individuals, move towards self-sufficiency. And I say individuals, but it's also individuals and families. And so there are many services that are provided as a part of that grant.
I know that there is a community action board attached to the Community Services Block Grant. Could you tell us about that Community Action Board and the support that they give to the county?
The grant requires that the CSBG funds be administered in collaboration with the CAB board or the Community Action Board that you just mentioned. The board is tripartite in structure, and what that means is that there are 3 segments. So we have the public segment, which is our elected officials or their representatives serve on the board. We also have the private sector, which is composed of different members in this community. And we have the low income sector, which is unique in that members who serve from that sector actually live in the community in which they serve, and they are voted onto the board through a democratic selection process. With the CSBG grant, the board has a needs assessment that they review, which is performed by an outside agency. And the needs assessment is very unique because the agency that performs it actually goes out into the community. They survey the residents to find out what do they need, and that information is brought back to the board as well as to county staff. We all work together to develop a work plan, which is also a requirement of the grant. And the work plan identifies 6 goals and various performance indicators. And so that really helps to determine and to drive where our services will be focused. And so the Community Action Board is key in helping to identify and set performance measures and really look at what outcomes we want to have for the fiscal year.
And thank you for bringing out the fact that people in the community can be involved in service delivery and having a say in the services that are provided through Hillsborough County Social Services. Well, let's talk a little bit about the social services community partners. Who are they?
Dee, we have various partners, and as you can imagine, there's lots of interest in the community in helping the population that we serve. 2 of our partners to begin with, we have a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club of Tampa Bay. We also have a partnership with the Parks and Recreations Department. One of the focal areas of the CSBG grant and of our social services department is on youth. And so both of those organizations work with us to provide after-school care for youth as well as summer care for them also. And the Boys and Girls Club also provides summer job opportunities.
That's great. We may have some people listening in the audience who would like to know about becoming a community partner. Can you talk about that?
Many agencies are interested, so typically that starts with a phone call. We usually receive a phone call and we're asked about what we do and how to become a partner. And so that's referred to one of the managers, myself or someone else, and we try and set up a face-to-face meeting. The reason for that is because we really want to hear from the partner what it is that they offer, what types of outcomes they have, how do they report those outcomes, and we really want to have a deep conversation about their mission because we want to make sure that their mission falls in line with what we're working on for our residents as well. Once that happens and we have that face-to-face, if it looks like something that might actually be viable and successful, we do request a written scope of services, and that really details reporting measures, annual performance that they've had over the past few years. That comes back to the management, our division director as well, Ms. Siegler, and we sit down and really take a look and see, is this something that would be beneficial? Of course, we discuss it with our Community Action Board as well if we're talking about CSBG.
Yes.
And sometimes those partners will come and make a presentation to the board as well.
Okay, thank you for that great overview. Angela, would you tell us about our future department enhancements?
Absolutely. Social services is extremely focused on implementing new technology that would not only improve but enhance, accelerate service delivery for our customers. A couple of the key projects that we're working on right now, as everyone's mentioned before, we have a LAHEAP grant that we offer utility assistance to customers. So we've partnered with Tampa Electric for a customer portal, which allows our staff to access customer records in order for us to determine eligibility for that grant. And we are also able to notify Tampa Electric of our assistance approvals in real time, which hopefully avoids disruption in service.
Wonderful.
We also have a brand new department automated customer eligibility system that we're referring to as ACES. And with ACES, we will be streamlining our processes, doing a lot of automation, and going to be able to have outcomes and outputs needed for grant reporting and for our program planning. in addition to engaging our customers and partners like never before. We will also have a customer portal within ACES, so customers will be able to initiate the application process. And we are revamping our kiosk within the the community resource centers, so that we will have full access at each kiosk. So customers will be able to access the portal and also access the needed documentation that they need without leaving the resource centers to determine eligibility for the assistance that they're requesting. We will also have a all-in-one printer, so customers will be able to print and copy their documents and scan and upload their documents to their case. So just to name a few of the projects that we're working on.
That is very exciting. So will this be easier for people to apply for services?
Oh, absolutely. With the customer portal, customers will be able to access applications 24 hours a day from any computer with internet access. So they'll be able to initiate their application process, scan and upload documents to manage their cases, schedule appointments, receive notifications on their cases, and we will also have navigators within the centers to assist with the kiosk and the application process.
If someone were going to apply for assistance, could you walk us through how that would happen?
Well, the customer portal is a secure portal, so we will require that a username and password is created for each account.
Okay.
So once they've created an account, and it'll guide them through the application process. So we will be asking for basic household and income information. They will do a pre-assessment and list what services they are requesting. So when that is done, they will receive a preliminary eligibility determination saying it appears you are eligible for the service. Would you like to continue? So they'll have the option to complete the entire application online, submit it, and also have the list of the required documents needed to complete the application for us to determine eligibility. So they'll be able to manage their cases from home prior to seeing a case manager to actually receive the service.
Are there other access points to services other than online or at the center?
Yes, we've really focused on expanding our access points. So we do have staff at CareerSource, adult education centers, and at the library. At CareerSource and adult education, we have staff there that are able to assist customers with financial hardships, and they are seeking education opportunities. So individuals that are looking to receive a GED, post-secondary education, technical or vocational training, and need assistance with the education expenses, we have staff there that would be able to help them with that, reaching their education goals and providing the financial assistance needed. We also have the staff at the library that are there to assist customers, letting them know what services we provide in our centers and how to access those services.
As we wrap up this segment, Faith and Angela, is there anything that you would like to add?
We have a partnership with Florida A&M University, and each year we send males up to Tallahassee for a 6-week summer residential program, and it really is a fantastic opportunity for these young males. They focus on academics, social personal skills, as well as character building, and we're very excited about that. In this past fiscal year, we were able to send 56 young males there, and so that was an awesome opportunity for them, and we really value that partnership, and it fits in with our focus on youth.
Thank you all very much for joining us today. We hope that this segment on Hillsborough County Social Services Department has been informative, and we would be happy to answer any questions you may still have. Just simply contact us at any of our offices or through the website. Thank you.